Hi everyone, EG here. I'm on a really cold day with some ice particles literally coming out of the sky at me. So I don't know if that's a portend or anything of things to come. But if you're watching this, I'm already gone. And the topic for today's video is I'm officially homeless. And so I wanted to do more of a deep dive into that today because I talked a little bit about it in my last video about how it was my final week. But I wanted to discuss it a little more because I know a number of you are concerned, especially because I do not have a set plan for when I come back to the US. And I mean, that's for various reasons that I'll get into, and also just I'll give you some of my options for when I get back. I'll discuss those in more detail here. But I can't even see myself here on the thing. I'm hoping I got the sun directly on me, so hopefully this film's okay. Anyway, yeah, I'm homeless. And you know what? After moving here 6.5 years ago, I actually never expected that I would willingly be homeless again. I mean, we can always be homeless through, other circumstances or, things, unintended things that happen in our life, unexpected things. But this is willingly homeless. I could have stayed here, could have just been paying more rent and just stayed here and had this little life that I've been having. But, then I wouldn't have had my dream. I wouldn't have been fulfilling a lifelong, or at least lifelong adult dream I've had of at least spending a lot of time over in Europe or overseas. Would never have been able to do that. So I willingly became homeless because I can't afford to keep an apartment and travel at the same time. Just not feasible. Wish it had been, because I probably would have done that. But sometimes you'd have to take the leap. And, 6.5, actually it was 7.5 years ago, I took the leap to go live out of my van for a year. And I did a video on that, which I'll probably link below. And don't yell at me about the music on it. I know it's distracting. That's why I don't use music behind my videos anymore. But the the video talked about how one of the worst things was just not having a home base, to go back to not have a place to go back to. Or it wouldn't have even been my own place. If I just had a relative that I could have stayed with occasionally, or I could have stayed with a close friend occasionally, it would have made all the difference in the world. And I still don't really have that. So I'm really operating under the same circumstances as I did 7.5 years ago, which is I don't have that place to go back to. The interesting thing, as I alluded to in my last video, is it doesn't bother me as much as it did 7.5 years ago. It's weird. I think getting older has changed my perspective. I'm not willingly moving the camera. That's actually the wind doing that. I've got the camera on my little tripod thing, and it's still kind of moving. So yeah, I'm gonna go inside in a little bit and finish this up having some tea, which I think is appropriate. It'll be the last day. I'll be in front of my little backdrop corner where I film, and I'll finish it up there. But yeah, I am. It's a heavy thing to say that. Like I'm actually willingly homeless. I'm willingly homeless, which, like I said, for the second time in less than a decade, it's kind of a weird place to be. But, those are the circumstances of my life. I created a lot of that problem. I could have had maybe a home base at one time and wouldn't have had to give it up to travel and things like that. But, I made some bad mistakes. I had somebody comment, a viewer, who said, well, you spend a lot of your videos blaming other people. Not really. I guess that person didn't listen to enough videos. Most of where I ended up in life right now is a lot of my own mistakes, choices, actions. Not all, but a good chunk of them. And I'm not sitting here blaming a lot of other people. I don't know why people think that. So anyway, I'll pick up with you inside when I get a little warmer, because I got literally ice, little particles of ice stinging my face right now. That's pleasant. Hey, so I'm inside, and I got some tea. I'm going to try not to hold this the whole time like I did the last time. But it, it kind of warms my hands. But this is my mug I've never shown you before, from where I went to college, graduated, College of William and Mary, established 1693. There's always been a controversy as to which is the oldest operating college in the U.S., William and Mary or Harvard. And I think Harvard technically is considered that, but people from William and Mary will tell you that they think it's William and Mary, because I don't know, remember which one, but one of them got their charter first and the other one started classes first. So, and I honestly don't remember which one, but it's an old school. And I found this, I hadn't used this in years. It was packed away, and then I pulled it out. I thought, well, I'll use it a couple times before I pack it away again. So it's among the handful of dishes that I have not yet packed. So I'm still using until tomorrow. So I'm going to put it down now, though, so I'm not holding it the whole time. Oh, and here's a visit from Lucy, in case you needed it. She's doing great. She's looking so forward to this trip. She's a great flyer. She likes flying, so she's going to try to calm me down for this whole thing. So we're going to put her down on her little resting spot right now. So, okay. So let me pick up with the being willingly homeless. Okay, so the first thing, I know, I'm having trouble adjusting this. This is my iPad filming because I know I still don't have the other camera down yet. I got to, because I'm taking it with me too, and I've got to be able to use it in the next week. So, but I've just been real busy. I've been really busy. The reason I like the iPad, it's got better color, it's got better picture than my iPhone, so I tend to like to use it more when I can. And the stand that this is on actually is going with me. It is a completely fold up, it's very light, and that is one piece of equipment that's going in my larger luggage because it folds down to probably about this size and it's pretty light. So I need this to film. Back to what I was saying about being homeless. So it is a really intense kind of reality. I've actually been homeless more than the one time 7.5 years ago for about a year. I don't know that I ever told you this story, so I'll tell you how I was willingly homeless again. When I was very young, I was 21, and I had gotten out of college, and my first job was at a bank in Williamsburg, Virginia, and I did not make enough at this bank to pay for rent. I honestly didn't. This was back in the 70s, and I still did not make enough because it wasn't technically a full-time job. It was like a 30-hour-a-week job or something, and it was a good job. I mean, I worked at the bank for about 3 or 4 months, and it was fine, but it just didn't pay me enough. So I had to go, I slept on people's sofas. I had a cot that I lugged around in my car, and people would let me sleep in the corner of their living room. I had friends from college and stuff, so I had connections, but they let me sleep in the corner of the living room on my cot. I mean, and then I rented a room from this guy who had a house, who owned his own house, but he was a young guy, and he rented out like 3 of the 4 bedrooms or something, and I rented a room from him for a while, still sleeping on a cot, like a camp cot. And that was in the days before memory foam and stuff, but I was young, so it was fine. But I was willingly homeless for about 4 or 5 months back when I was 21 because I was working at this job, but I couldn't get my own place, and I didn't really have someone to even move into, like with a roommate kind of situation. And I really wasn't going to stay in Williamsburg, so that was probably the other consideration of this whole thing. So, but yeah, I have been homeless before. I have never been unintentionally homeless, and that would suck. And so for any of you out there that you're dealing with that or have dealt with that, my heart goes out to you, because to do it unwillingly, I think, is a lot harder. I really do. I think it's, I mean, it wasn't that easy on me 7.5 years ago because I couldn't afford to get an apartment until I got into this place. And so I really didn't have any options. I was living out of my van and I really didn't have options. So it started out intentionally, but then it went on longer than I probably would have wanted it to. Now, this situation's a little different. I'm going overseas. I'm on an extended travel trip. That's how I view it. I know technically it is being homeless, but I'm not really viewing that part of it when I'm overseas as being homeless, because I do have accommodations set up. I do have places to go. It's not really concerning me. What's concerning me more is coming back. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about that, because I've mentioned it on a couple of other videos, but I haven't really. So I have several irons in the fire. Let's put it that way. So when I come back to the US, which could be as soon as beginning of October, like the first week in October, I do have 2 applications in, part one at the place I'm at now and one at a place in Oregon, on the Oregon coast, which I applied to like 4 years ago. And they are, I would have already gotten an apartment there about 2-3 months ago, but I already knew I was going to probably go overseas. So I told them to hold off. So they will contact me in October, and they might very well have an apartment, and I might be going up there. It is also, I will be paying more rent than I have been paying, assuming I still have at least the same amount of income I have now. And, but that's okay. It's still not full, like expensive rent. Like I wouldn't be paying, I think probably about $750 a month, roughly, in each place. So, those are 2 options when I come back, and I will hear from the place in Oregon. They know to email me. I told them, I sent them a message, told them I will be over there till the beginning of October, to send me a message if there's going to be an apartment there soon. In the interim, when I get back, I will be going to Reno, which is the closest big city to where my stuff is in storage, basically. And I will be arranging a place to stay there, not at Airbnb, because they're too expensive in the United States. They're cheaper overseas, so I can't afford an Airbnb here. But there is a website called Furnished Finders, and it's primarily for professionals or people that are like traveling, professionals, nurses, things like that. But anyone technically can book with them. And I'm going to arrange a place in Reno for like the first month when I'm back, at least, maybe 2 months. And they're cheaper than an Airbnb, but they're still obviously, more expensive than I would normally pay for rent. So I will be doing that. And I probably will, if I have the funds to do it, will be getting a vehicle, a used vehicle, hopefully without any kind of car payment. So that if I need to travel around in that, that's what I can do. Now, if I know I'm going to get the apartment in Oregon by then I probably will still get a used vehicle just so I can make that move, and I need a vehicle up there, but then I will probably be moving up there unless other things happen when I'm in Europe. There may be other possibilities that arise. I may find out more about maybe there are ways I can get a visa over there for another country while I'm in Europe. So there are lots of options there too. And for those of you that wanted an update on this, I have not heard anything further about the appeal. I'm pretty much expecting that it was denied, because again, they told me if I don't hear anything by the end of February, of course, it takes them 2 weeks for mail from them to get to me. So I did send in a change of address to them, so they would send it to my mailing address while I'm gone, and then that place can scan it and email it to me. So I'm not expecting it to be approved. I have no hypothesis about what's going on with other countries in regards to Americans wanting to come and get visas. I don't know if it's changed or not, or I really don't know. So, but I just don't expect that to come through, which is fine, because frankly, it's probably better that it waits another year just to see how things shake out and to see, what my income is in a year, because a lot of things could change. A lot of things could change. So there is uncertainty. And as I shared in this last week's video, life is uncertain. we never have a guarantee. You can have everything lined up and you think everything's great, and life throws you, like a curveball. And, Murphy's Law kind of thing. So I'm very aware of that. I have options, and I do have a couple of friends. I don't really have anyone I could stay with when I come back to the US. So that's just what it is. So my best option is stay maybe, unless the place in Oregon comes through. The place I'm living now, I don't know if they'll have a place as early as October. They might not have a place till January. So in which case, probably I would get a vehicle and I would just go on the road. And I would, in the wintertime, you go down to Arizona and you basically camp out in the desert of Arizona, which is great. The temperature is great in the winter. So I know what to do. I've been on the road before. So there's things I don't like about it, but I know how to do it. I know I can do it at this point. So like I said in my last video, or the one last week, that, life is uncertain, and sometimes you got to just be okay with that. And I think as I get older, the more okay with it I am, interestingly. I don't think most people are that way, but I definitely am. Now, I'm going to give you a disclaimer right now. This is for all of you out there that are thinking, oh, wow, like that's so brave. I want to do that too. Okay, it might be a little brave, but I think it's also a little crazy what I'm doing, and I'm the first to admit it. But I've always been kind of that way. I have done things, most of the things in my life that I have done based on wanting the experience or the adventure of something or whatever, most of them have worked out. I mean, they haven't been a disaster. So I've done other things in my life that I regret, but not along these lines. Okay. So, but let me just say this. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for the faint of heart. If you have a lot of money in the bank and you can live in comfort, whether it's overseas or here, go for it. If you've got the resources, I would say then do it. Go grab the bull by the horns, as the saying goes. If you're like me and you're operating under a budget, I wouldn't recommend it for the faint of heart. You've got to be willing to fly by the seat of your pants. And I don't mean actual flying, which I'm also, not happy about right now. But I mean, you've just got to wing it. I said it again. See, I did another flying analogy. I don't know what's wrong with me. So anyway, the point is, I'm not encouraging all of you to do the same thing I'm doing, is what I'm saying. Because I think you have to be a certain type of person. I think not everyone can do this. Like I said, if you have a lot of money and you have a lot of ability to travel in style and go stay places and have a really nice house, do it. I would do. My gosh, if I had a lot of money, I wouldn't even be worried at all about this. So the thing is, but money is a big thing, and health. I'd say the two things that you have to really think about are money and health, because the money will help only so much. If your health isn't good and you really can't do it, then that's a problem. Now, and it could be, my health could go downhill in a year or less, or 5 years. So hopefully I've got at least 5 good years left, but I don't know. None of us know. None of us know. So I'm doing the best I can where I'm at in life right now. And I am grabbing that proverbial bull by the horns and just doing it. Do I recommend it for everybody? No, I do not. I think you have to really look at your life circumstances. So, how am I dealing with being homeless? You're seeing this and I'm already homeless. I'm probably fine right now. I probably will be fine for a while. It may not really hit me till I have to come back to the US. And that's when it'll hit me. It might hit me while I'm over there too, because, I won't be moving around every 2 or 3 nights or anything. I will be staying in most places at least a couple of weeks. If not, the first place I'm staying like a month and a half. So I will have plenty of time to settle in, feel comfortable, feel rested. Um, I'm not really worried about feeling too like hectic and hurried and everything. Will it hit me that I'm homeless occasionally? Yes, absolutely. Will it bother me as much as it would some people? No, it won't. Not to the same degree. Now, when I get back to the US, and you'll be with me on this journey, hopefully, when I get back to the US, then things might be different. It might be a different story then. Anyway, I have no idea what it's going to be like when I get back, as far as the my possibilities, the situation, what's going on in the country. I have no idea. So basically, I can't even postulate as to what it's going to be like. So why do it at this point? I already have, like I said, some irons in the fire. I have a plan in place, and we'll just see. I think if you want to wish anything for me, wish that my YouTube channel continues to grow. Keep hitting that like and subscribe, which, by the way, those are getting packed away right after this video. If you have not already subscribed, please do that. Keep your fingers crossed that my channel continues to grow and that I have more views, increasing views, because that's what you really get paid on, are the views. So if YouTube pushes out your video, you get more money. It's just as simple as that. So, and I've talked about other ways of supporting the channel. It's listed below. So if you want to support and are able to support in other ways, it is highly appreciated. So, but anyway, I just wanted to share this with you, that I'm very aware and conscious of what I'm doing. I'm not a crazy person. I am a bit adventurous. I am a bit, I do push the envelope sometimes in life. But you know what? That's how I've always been to some degree, This is the person that joined the Peace Corps at 22. And everybody, all my friends thought I was just crazy. And maybe it was a little crazy, but it was the adventure of a lifetime. It really was. It almost killed me, but it was the adventure of a lifetime, and I did make it back from that. So the thing is that I'm still that person. I'm older. I'm not as spry as I used to be. How often do you hear the word spry anymore? That's a strange word. Anyway, I'm certainly not as agile or youthful as I used to be. But it's okay, because I can do this. So I hope all of you are doing well yourselves. Take care of yourselves while I'm overseas. By the time you see this, there will be a live stream following very shortly, like within a day or so. So hopefully you'll tune into my live stream, and we'll go from there. Life is just a great adventure, after all. It really is. And this may be my last hurrah of adventure that I can do in the next months, or maybe a few years at most. And I want to embrace that. So with that thought, until next time, be kind always and keep moving forward. Take care, all of you. Bye.